Seemed like you guys kind of put that one away by locking down defensively at the end. Would you kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I think, excuse me. I think our half-court defense was actually probably pretty dang good all night. It felt like the turnovers, when we didn't give ourselves a chance to get set, is probably when it felt like they went on some runs. They made a couple shots. Murray Boyles hit some threes above the quadrant that he's a good player, but was probably, we take away something from Ingram and Barrett and Barnes at some point, someone's going to get a shot, and so he gets credit for that. But to hold that team to 103 and keep them out of transition off the boards is a pretty strong performance by those guys as a group.
The first time in 89 games that Wemby didn't have a block, but yet it seems like he was having one of his best defensive games. Is it getting to a point where you think teams just aren't challenging him anymore?
I mean, I would think that would be part of the game plan at some point. It's tough because he has such a good feel. But yeah, and I think, sometimes it's just the games take on different personalities, and I don't think when he gets 12 blocks like the team was trying to say, hey, let's go challenge this guy around the rim. But yeah, it is funny how that happens. You think it feels like he can block every shot, and that he had one, and he impacted the game all night long that he was on the floor defensively.
It's a good test for the team to go against a team that'll play 5 out and try to pull Vic away from the rim protection roles. A good test for the rest of the guys to figure out how are we going to step up when Wemby can't be at the rim.
Yeah, I think that we'll definitely see that a lot as we have in the past. I think it was also just a good test in terms of, again, different groups. Biz gave us 14 good minutes. Jordan McLaughlin, Carter Bryant gave us 10-plus minutes, and we needed them. We had a hard-fought game last night and quick turnaround, and we needed them. And I thought Harrison Barnes did a commendable job also. He guarded, Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes for a lot of the night and made them work, and then also hit some big shots for us down the stretch. So I think, the game plan execution with that of trying to stay to our identity defensively and not get too far extended was definitely a good test, and we'll probably continue to see that.
This might be a silly question. It is a silly question, 4 games in.
Great.
But, a lot of the guys in that locker room have not had a stretch like this, four wins in a row. Is part of the job just to keep them grounded and not getting too excited about, the start to the season?
Yeah, it's hard. We have young players that are good, and there's a lot of teams doing this league, and there's a certain level of enthusiasm, excitement, energy in young people, period, right? So sometimes it's a superpower and it's for good, and sometimes we need to take a deep breath and compose ourselves and show some poise, and sometimes we need to be held accountable of not getting ahead of ourselves. But these guys right now have done a good job since the start of training camp of just taking it day by day and not trying to ride the ebbs and flows and the roller coasters of the emotions of the long season.
Coach, you guys built a big lead early and had to fight through a third-quarter offensive slowdown. What impressed you the most about how the group handled that particular stretch and closed it out?
I think we've had a couple times, as well as tonight, of just a good competitive response at times. NBA games are long. When you get up early, it'd be nice to just stay up the whole game, but typically it doesn't happen. The coaches and teams and players in this league are really good, and they're typically going to go on a run. Sometimes you hit a rough patch, as you alluded to, and I think to continue to find ways to stop their runs and to start our runs is something we're just really trying to commit to. And a lot of times that's not making the shot or doing something with the basketball in your hands.
Since you guys are undefeated now in preseason and regular season, are you seeing early signs of the culture that you've been trying to build here?
No. We've played well, but I'm not going to say that.
With 2 days off between now and Miami, is there any chance any of the 5 guys who are out might be back by then?
It's a good question. It's hard, too, because then we have, I believe, 2 more days off. You have this time. You don't have time in this league. When you get it, it almost feels weird. But it's a good time for this team. It's like a good bye week in the NFL. I don't know, but I hope we continue to get the troops back, and if we don't, at least these guys can get some rest.
2-2-2, right? After the next two.
I don't know. It's hard to get that far ahead, but yeah.
Is there something from practice that you see is really carrying over to game days that you like a lot?
I think the first day of training camp, we talked about competitiveness and we talked about paying attention to details, and they're trying. We can be better. We can continue to raise our standard and be more consistent, but they are trying.
You're playing from ahead a lot. That's kind of like a luxury for like the top teams in the league, and it takes them a while to learn how to not blow those leads. You were kind of talking about not getting bored and that kind of stuff. What's been the message you've been giving to the team when the opponent is coming back and maybe even takes a lead like you had against Brooklyn to get them to not completely full? Yeah,
honestly, it's really the same even before you get the lead. You know, I think it's just sometimes it takes a little bit more stronger communication at a certain time, whether that's just to get back to what you were doing to that point or to just take a deep breath and do less is typically how it happens. But for us, it's going to take time. We haven't played together. Jeff alluded to it. You know, it's just reality that some of these guys haven't been in this position, forget even winning or losing, just playing big roles in this league. So it will take time. And if we have the competitive response and right approach with that, along with putting our energy in the right spots, you can have a little success while you learn.
Coach, back to the start of the season, maybe on the other end of the kind of keeping them grounded, as much success as the franchise has enjoyed over the years, I think this is maybe only the fourth time or third time that a Spurs team has started 4-0. So I know, yes, it's early, but anything to be said about that and the good start that, you know, this group is putting together?
No. We've played good basketball. We finished a couple games, but again, there's been a lot of close games. Ball can go both ways. We got to keep getting better. But we've had some good competitive responses at times early on.